Welcome to another Wednesday, our weekly Wednesday live in Nashville with the Burnett's to talk about everything home selling, home buying, living your American dream as a homeowner, buying land, planning your taxes, everything you need to prepare financially and physically to prepare for having a home. But today we're going to talk about misconceptions of marketing. And I'm excited to dive into this topic with Matt and Marty because they are really the masters of this. So you're going to want to pay attention. Matt, Marty, as always, happy Wednesday. Great to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Marketing. I hear the buzz out, just in what I'm doing as well. And I hear people just saying, no, I don't need this, or, oh, it's supposed to be that. Let's hone in on it for real. Let's start with what you guys talk to us about what it used to be, what marketing used to be, and then also what some of the misconceptions are. And then we can dive in what they really need to do.
We've always been really heavy on the marketing piece. We've always believed in that, regardless. I think in any market, marketing is a big part of sales, regardless of what the real estate market is doing. I mean, you have to market you need to market the property to the best of your ability, depending on, it depends on what the seller wants to do,
And make it look the absolute best that it can for whatever the purpose is. But a misconception is, kind of leading into that is what we hear all the time. Well, we don't have to do any marketing. All we got to do is put a for sale sign, or we got all the way to this. And that's
stick a flyer in the box, right?
Stick a flyer in the box, put it on them, whatever, stick a sign in the yard. And that's absolutely true.
Right now, that's all you have to do if that's all you want to do.
If you don't care about getting all the money.
Right. Well, you may have sellers that let's say they haven't sold their last home for the last 7 to 10 years. What was the old way that they marketed then versus what we're going to let them know they need to do now?
I mean, marketing was limited before, media and internet and social media and things like that. So a lot of it is, they're still thinking flyers and hard copy and sign calls and, things like that, where people are driving around looking. And, now everything's digital, so you've got to have the professional photographs. You've got to have the staging. You've got to have the virtual tours, all that kind of stuff. People are busy. They're searching online. And, again, to Matt's point, you don't have to do any of that if you don't want. And a lot of people are thinking, in this market, I put a sign in the yard, my house sells for top dollar. And that's not the case. That's
and I hear that a lot too.
Waste money if you don't do all the things.
So let's walk that process, because I hear that a lot as well. Well, it's been a hot market, so I don't need to put all these extra steps into selling my home. We've got summer coming up for 2022. You're probably going to start seeing a lot of sellers saying, okay, this is the time. What will you do? What strategically will you go in and say, this is what's relevant today for a summer sale?
I mean, I'm still doing everything that we have done for quite some time and then some. I think the biggest misconception in today's market is that there's no value in doing the extra stuff. And that is just simply not true. And it's even ringing more true as people want the price, or the prices continue to climb and people are giving more and more money to secure housing. We've always been one to go through, take care of all the maintenance items, anything that's broken, anything. A house that is turnkey will always, in any market, sell quicker and for more money than a house that is poorly maintained, poorly staged, and, doesn't look so great. Can you put a poorly maintained house on the market right now and get it sold? Absolutely. But if you did the maintenance and some of the other things, how much money are you leaving on the table? And that's what I'm seeing. And people don't realize the difference. They don't understand that there's still things that can be done to maximize profits. That's why people hire us. They want every dollar. And I'll show you how to get every dollar, but you have to listen to me and understand that I'm not spinning your wheels. I'm not going to have you spend money where you don't need to spend money. But I'm very strategic about how I do this. And it works. It works in any market. But even more so too in this market, because people are leaving lots of money on the table. I just had a property that it'll close out in about a week and a half. It's going to bring $45,000 more than the top selling house in the neighborhood. Yep. In this market. And that's $45,000 more than the other, 5 or 6 houses that sold in the last 6 months.
that's more than going to cover the cost that they put into that marketing, whether they brought in drone footage, they paid, for the staging, the high quality photos and digital press kit for that. It more than covers that. At the end of the day, it's worth it.
Absolutely. It is. On average, I think the stats the last time we looked at it were what? A professionally staged, photographed, and marketed home will bring 10%, on average 10% more than one that is not.
The idea behind the marketing is to get as many people in front of the house in a short amount of time as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to make it look the absolute best you can online, in pictures and everywhere else, to get those people there.
Mm-hmm.
Versus only, because you're going to get a lot more money if you got 20 people looking at it versus 3 people looking at it.
Absolutely. The multiple offer situation is what is driving this market.
Right.
Make your house look as good as it possibly can is what's driving the multiple offer market.
And that is still continuing there in the Nashville area, is it not?
It is. And that's the thing that, in this whole idea of, I'm not in a hurry. Well, it doesn't matter in a hurry or not. If you want to sell for top dollar, the faster it sells, the more it'll bring. It's always been that way, will always be that way. You're not waiting around on the right buyer by any stretch of the imagination. There's tons of them out there right now. And we're just trying to get the most financially strong one and the one that's willing to give the most amount of money. And so taking this time to prep and get ready will ensure that you do that. And, like I said, I'm seeing houses sell in hours, days, 10 offers, 20 offers, but when you look at one that everything in the neighborhood and you look at the one that you're going to close out at $45,000 higher than all of those. And a lot of people think our market's peaked, and we just did it. I mean, it's happening. And my people did all the stuff. They did all the things. They were maintenance ready. The house was tight. It looked good. It was super duper clean. They did everything I asked them to do. We staged it. We professionally photographed it. A lot of people, why are you still doing that? Houses are selling so fast. I would have left a minimal $45,000 on the table for my client.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. And so I'm so glad that we're kind of drilling this in over and over with this topic, because if you're putting all this time and effort to sell, even if it's because you have to move for a job or whatever, why leave the money on the table when it's right there, especially right now with this market? And as you're saying, multiple offers.
Yeah, I had a client, I don't know, we're getting ready to close them out as well, but it was like pulling teeth to get the paint and the flooring. Like the house they'd lived in it for many, 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 many years. They bought it new. They raised 4 boys in it. I mean, it was loved and lived in. And I'm like, guys, this is what you need to max out. And they were really torn, which I completely understand, because paint and carpet in a big house like that is really expensive. But I told them, I'm like, here's the thing. You will get this back tenfold. This is what will cause your property to go multiple offer and highest and best and bring all the dollars. And so reluctantly they did it, because it's tough to spend money on a house that you're selling, but not if it's in the right way. And I don't have people do that a lot. But if it's necessary, we do it. And paint and flooring will go $100 million. We didn't renovate a kitchen. We didn't renovate a bathroom. And believe me, they needed it. But with the paint and carpet, the staging, the professional photography, we were able to have people visualize the way this house could be. And it still needs a few things. And the next, and the buyer's willing to do those things. But, it's just that investment was completely and totally necessary to get the top dollar. They trusted me and it worked. We did it.
That is fantastic.
And they're thrilled. They're thrilled.
That is fantastic. It's such great information. And I love that we touch on this subject multiple times throughout the year, because we don't know who hasn't heard this or seen this. And the more we can help educate anyone that's getting ready to sell their home to get that max dollar, the more sense it makes, is why we're here doing this, which is so important. I want to touch real quick, and I would love to share a little bit for our viewers what we have upcoming, because we're going to have some really great guests and changing some things here of what we're going to bring to this weekly Wednesday show.
Yeah, we're excited because we talk about real estate every week, and we could talk about it forever.
Right.
There's all different
That's all
topics.
we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I mean, but there's all kinds of different topics, and there's so many different moving parts, and I think it's important for people to understand, and they're always changing, and this market is different than anything we've ever seen. So that's fun. But what we've talked about doing now is actually bringing some of our clients on. Great. And interviewing them and getting them to talk about actually going through these processes. And from the homeowner standpoint, what that looks like. I mean, Matt and I we've been married almost 19 years. We've moved 9 times.
Wow.
Mhm.
And no, but here's the kicker. We've
Not
lived
lately.
but the house that we're in now,
Yeah.
we've lived in for what, 7 years?
Or 8 maybe. I don't know.
So that tells you how many times we moved in a short amount of time. So we've
Right.
been the buyer, we've been the seller. Like, we totally get it. But I think to hear from some actual clients that have
Yes.
gone through and they can weigh in on some of the things that we're saying, I think that'll be really fun.
I think it's a fabulous idea because that's definitely relatable to a lot of buyers who are in the same position of what the market is right now, what they need to do right now, what they need to do to prepare. And I love, we're also going to be discussing how to prepare now for next year's taxes upcoming in the next few weeks, so that it doesn't scare you or come in at the end. What are some things that homeowners can do today to really set themselves up for success for taxes for next year? So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. And I know we have
to be starting that now.
Yes. And I know we always bring in Anna Cook.
Just got 21 done. Let's go ahead and start working on
It's still
22.
fresh on everybody's probably brain right now.
Exactly. And we'll bring Anna Cook back and talk about what's taking place on your financing. So we've really got some great stuff coming up ahead. And if you follow this every Wednesday, you're really going to want to check it out because it's information you need to know, whether you're buying now, buying or selling later, relocating, looking at an investment property, land like we looked at last week with Matt, which is fantastic. There's always incredible information that you can take away or pass on to someone you love that you know is going through the process. Really good stuff. Great to see you guys. As always, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.